I'm having all sorts of technical difficulties, so I really have no idea if this is working or not. One of my screens, it shows that I'm connected. On another screen of mine, it shows that I'm not connected. And on a third screen of mine, it talks about an authorization error. So I really have no idea if this is going out live or not, or if I can be heard. La 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 la. Hmm. Yeah, I have no idea if it's streaming or not. I might be just sitting here talking to myself for the next hour or so. Oh well, I'll blame Google. You can see me and hear me. I guess it would be smart for me to not pick my nose and then put it in my mouth, right? Testing the latency now because supposedly I'm on ultra low latency, so it should be like real time, or close to real time. If what I'm seeing in one window and then in this, I guess it's about a 4 or 5 second delay, but that's okay. I mean, last year and every other time I've done these, there's been about a 35 or 40 second delay. So when there's results, people start going, refresh the page, man. And they start sharing the results, and and then when I'm talking about what is happening audibly, they're like, we already know that. So I was trying to minimize the impact of what I say being something that you guys have already seen if you actually have Strongman Archives or the World's Strongest Man website open in a tab or another browser somewhere. The heck? I just coughed something up. I don't know what that is. Gross. Assuming they got kicked off when they should have, it should be showing soon. I guess I could go hunt down the live cams there and see if I can't see what's going on. I'm sure I can find them. I might even edit the description to say, hey, webcam footage should be shown from blah blah website, credit them, so that, I mean, they're supposed to be public facing cams, so I would think that we'd be allowed to use them, especially if there's a disclaimer in there where they're coming from. I think I'm going to go over here on another tab away from this window and see if I can't see what's going on. Let's see here. Let's see, Earth Cam. There's Myrtle Beach Northview. Let's see. I don't want Myrtle Beach Northview. I want Myrtle Beach, probably Boardwalk. No, probably the volleyball cam. Yeah, it's the volleyball cam, but the way they've got the stands and stuff this year, they were smart. They knew people were going to be doing this. You can't see jack. Um, I think I see what's supposed to be the course. It looks like people might be running. Uh, there ain't no way to see anything there, though. It's kind of useless. I'm not going to bother streaming that or putting it on the screen. The these stands are huge. And I guess props and kudos to World's Strongest Man for actually trying to make it a little more fan friendly for at least the spectators this year. They still need to get the whole streaming stuff worked out. My dog is going crazy. He's like, take me out, take me out, take me out, which I'm probably going to have to do it in a minute because if I don't, he won't stop. Not good. I guess there's just a three there. Yeah. I'm looking to see if I can't find a stream out there on the internet somewhere, but I'm not having much luck. I think they've done a good job of blocking the view from these live cameras. It's not happening. Not happening. I'll show you guys what I see, just so you know that this isn't worthwhile. No one's watching this with us anyway. I think it's essentially me and David and no one else. So I guess if I cover up the screen for a split second, no one's gonna yell at me. You can see that's all that you can see on the screen there. So there's absolutely no reason for me to stream that. These bleachers and things that they have set up make this pretty much a useless view for us. I assume most of the regulars who usually join me here are probably on Log and Liz's stream, hanging out with everybody over there. All is pretty good here, except I've been dealing with this nasty bacterial infection in my eye for like 6, 7 months now, and I can't get rid of it. I've been through tons of rounds of antibiotics, had them go in there and lance it to drain the infection a couple times. It just keeps coming back. I just can't seem to get rid of it. And it's disturbing when you've got something going on with your eyes because they're your eyes and they're super sensitive and itchy and watery and all that crap. But also the infection, it's kind of made me weaker, so I have not been doing as well at the gym, but I'm still persevering, plugging along, and going anyway. Hope you're well as well. Close that there. Minimize that and just look at this here. Yeah, I have. Most of that I have taken has actually been with a prescription tablets that they have given me. But I've been through and tried just about everything. Nothing has worked. Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of things that I've put in my eye and on my eye, from sprays to spritzes to ointments to powders and tablets, and again the lancing and everything. And let's see, I've gone through multiple rounds of antibiotics, but the two antibiotics that I've gone with so far have been doxycycline and amoxicillin. But I guess at this point, I'm just reined to the fact that whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Some days it gets so itchy and painful. I actually kind of just think about taking a spoon and sticking it in there and just plucking that sucker out. Good question. I haven't done any of the stuff I normally do. I wasn't really sure I was going to be able to do this at all. For the first time in a long time, I'm not just an entrepreneur who's self-employed now. I took a regular job, and and so I wasn't sure I was going to be able to stream at all until just this morning. So so I didn't put out the content I normally would or anything like that. Um, yeah, I can once once we see who's heading to the finals, I'll definitely go ahead and make a video for that. Um, and I'll go ahead and make my picks on where everybody will finish in the final. Um, and I'll do that before we go live on the day of the finals. So I'd actually like to cover the sport full time, but um, I still feel like we're a bit too nichey to really do that. Um, Now, granted, I have some pretty good marketing chops, so I could just decide to rely on other forms of blogging and video logs and make myself a healthy affiliate income while I'm covering the sport. But at that point, covering the sport would really be a loss of money for me, especially if I wanted to travel and go to the events, which I would want to. Um, it would take quite some time for it to probably become profitable. Um, I believe. So I don't know if I'll ever get around to doing that, but I would like to just cover the sport full time. I hate leaving you guys to sit here by yourself, but there's no results coming up on the page anyway, so it's not like we're missing much. But I'm gonna take my dogs outside real quick, and then I'll be right back. I'll leave the I'll leave the spreadsheet up for those of you who want to see it. I guess I could try to make that a little larger too. I think I can probably zoom in once. Let me see here. The only thing is I can't see the live version to know what that did for you guys. Let me go back here. Maybe I can see it from here. Uh, might be okay if I move that over a little bit. Let's see here. I think it's this one here. We need to go this way a little bit. And then I should be able to drag this over here like so. I don't know. Can you, I think the names are still cut off a little bit there. Do you think that's okay or do you think not? So I could go right where the points total and then buy a little bit extra that way. I think that's probably about as good as I can get it. A little bit longer, a little bit more. Um, all right, I'm gonna leave you guys to look at this by yourselves, and I'm gonna be right back in just a moment after I take the dogs out. Be right back. Okay, results out. Doesn't appear to be on my side. Says they're supposed to auto refresh. I guess so much for that. Their site specifically says no need to refresh. Results will update automatically, but mine did not. So let's see here. It looks like in the deadlift ladder in Group 1, Thomas Hoff of Canada got first. Eddie Williams took second. Luke Stoltman took third. Kevin Ferris fourth. Trey Mitchell fifth. And it got just one. So Trey thus far is doing about what I expected. I really didn't think he was going to be totally recovered from that injury. Um, I wished I knew I was going to get a chance to stream because I did see Laws and Liz's predictions for how people were going to do in each of the rounds. And normally, I think Laws has some pretty good predictions. Um, it's usually pretty rare, to be honest, that he and I don't kind of see it going pretty similar when I watch his analysis and prediction videos and things like that. Where we usually have pretty similar viewpoints, and I guess we still have pretty similar viewpoints. But as I watched that video they put out, I found myself going, I don't really know that I see things the same way that Laws does this year around. They weren't major differences, but considering that our views are usually identical, I felt that there were pretty some pretty significant differences. I guess I could make this even bigger if I only go over to the sandbag steeplechase with. Basically, go to where their photos are because that's all we're going to really get to see today anyway. So I guess I could blow this up a little bit more and try to play with this. Yeah, let me see what I can do real quick. I think this right here. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Let's do this. I guess if I only wanted to see like one group at a time or something, I'd probably go like that. I guess that's about as good as I'll be able to get. Doesn't take up the best screen real estate. I'll have to work on this later. This will be better tomorrow, I promise. I'll make that commitment. I'll work on this tonight and get the screens set up to where they optimally take up the best screen real estate. Yeah, I'll do that. So that's stuck down there. I need to fix that too. Yeah, there's several things here I need to tweak. I haven't opened this template since last year, so I guess it's wrong of me to just assume that it would work. And I think what we'll do is we'll clone this one and we'll make this the World's Strongest Man website. We'll get it up there as well. second scene. Go back here. These results are refreshing automatically. So group 2 on my side is doing what group 1 didn't. So we can see that Camby got 4 in 46 seconds, and Gav got 4 in 38 seconds. So neither of them managed to lift the fifth one. In the first group, I guess only 2 managed to get 5. So that was Eddie Williams and Thomas Hoth. Luke got 4 in really fast time of 30 seconds, but he couldn't get the fifth up. 4 in 30 it's a good time, but if you can get the fifth bar up, you definitely, no matter how fast you do it at that point, it trumps the, if you get 5 in 60 seconds, that beats 4 in 2 seconds. It's kind of weird. My streaming software is really acting stupid. I think YouTube has made some changes, and I need to get some things updated in my OBS. Yeah, I gotta work on this tonight for sure. It's nasty. Okay. Fun stuff to worry about. Okay, let's see here. Let me go here. 2024 results. There's that. I actually really like the way that theirs looks this year. So we're going to get that worked out as well. I think if I drag this over here on this screen, it won't cover up the other one. I think I'm right about that. Let's see if I just covered up you guys' results. I did not. Okay. So I'm going to get a second scene set up here so we can flip back and forth between the World's Strongest Man and Strongman Archives. So bear with me while the screen gets covered up and distorted and all that stuff. I think it's this one here. Yep. Okay, so what we could do is we can take it over to there. Over here. Really only need to go through 3 of these like this, I guess. Yeah, I actually prefer the way the World's Strongest Man layout looks this year over Strongman Archive. So, now the question is, which of them will report first? Health is good, minus some issues with my eye and some infections. Aside from that, health is good. How are you? All right, so we're still waiting for results there. I will flip back and forth between the two sites just in case. Okay, so we're still waiting for more results from group 2. And I think if I'm right, I can just do this now. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, no. Fragment archives. How did I cover that one up? Oh, because I duplicated it, right? Shouldn't be, though. So if I change this, is it going to go back and change the other one too? I bet it will. Yeah, dang it. Dang it. All right. Yeah, I got to clean this up. I got to make this better. I think we're going to keep it like this for today, and then tomorrow's stream is going to look much, much better. I'll get things set up. I apologize that it's not up to my normal meticulous, painstaking details where I am asinine and OCD'd about making everything pixel perfect, but um, I didn't know I was going to be streaming until a couple hours ago. Didn't think I was going to get to, so. Okay, so we got some more results on Strongman Archive, so I suspect they'll populate over here. Really don't like the fact that I can't show. Kind of sucks. I go back here, change this. So Austin Andrade managed to get 5, and Spencer Remick got 4 and 53. I think I'm gonna move this over here and move that window back over there so I can see these simultaneously. And then whichever one is up faster, I can report to you guys and change the setup. That should work. That'll work. I wish I could see the chat inside of OBS. It used to do that. It really sucks. I kind of want to close that and reopen and see what happens, but I'm sure it's going to screw the damn stream up. That sucks, man. Oh, this is driving me nuts. I hate when stuff isn't working the way I want it to. I don't like anything to be poorly done. Okay, well that fixed the live panel, but it doesn't have the embedded chat now. What happens if I do that there? Yeah, I won't embed it. That sucks. Laws as a guy who's live streaming the action to him. Well, I'm a bit jealous. Unfortunately, I don't have those connections. Yeah, it would be great. Last year we kind of had that. Mr. Simon Dean was in there for us, letting us know what was going on. That was kind of cool. That was pretty awesome. I gotta figure out why YouTube chat is no longer embedded in the OBS software. Making it much harder to interact with you guys and keep my screens up where I can see all the action myself. All right. So let's hear from you guys. I think there's only a couple of us sitting here, but instead of asking who do we think is going to win the entire thing this year, let me ask the question a little bit differently. If you think that someone other than Mitchell Hooper is going to win the 2024 World's Strongest Man, let me know in the chat who's going to win it. I don't feel like asking who do we think is going to win it because I have a feeling it'll probably just be Hooper, Hooper, Hooper. So instead of doing that, I wanna say if you think someone other than Mitchell Hooper is winning, who do you think is going to win? Even though there's not enough people here for me to really ask right now. Normally we've got a few hundred people watching with us. Now we've got like a dozen. All right, so Mitchell Hooper gets all five, and he gets it in 36 seconds. And Andre gets his four in 32:51. The crazy thing about Mitchell's 5 and 36, if we look so far at the results, one, so we can see right here, Andre beats his time, so he gets 32 seconds. But obviously Mitchell wins because of the fifth. But what I'm trying to show is this right here. We have one competitor, two competitors. That's it. So far, only two people have done four faster than Hooper did five. You gotta give credit to the young guy. He's pretty freaking impressive. I think that's putting it mildly and understated, but all right. While we're waiting for these group threes, because we know it's going to take quite some time, should we go back and review all of the action from the first event and then the rounds as well. What I don't like is it doesn't appear that they're showing. Maybe if I sit here on the loading screen long enough, it'll update, but it doesn't look like it. Looks like they're blocking these on Strongman Archives this year until the results on that one come in. So you can't see the past event. We can't look at like the Webster Stones. That kind of sucks. So I think we're going to refer back to our other site here. We're going to go back to Strongman Archives or World's Strongest Man here. And I think we're going to do a recap of everything that's happened while we're waiting for Group 3 results of Event 2. So that should be right here. This over here. All right, here we go. Let's do a quick recap. So in Event 1, the Webster Stones, Event 1. It sounds weird to me saying Event 1. In the first event, the Webster Stones, in Group 1, Eddie Williams took first place. Luke Stoltman took second place. Kevin Ferris took third place. Tristan Hoff took fourth place. I've been calling him Todd for some reason. I don't know why I've been doing that. Trey Mitchell took fifth place, and Oscar took sixth. I guess that would be sixth place. Last place would be sixth, right? Yeah, seems right. Okay. If we go on down to Group 2, in Event 1, we will see that Mitchell Hooper and Andre, I don't really know how he pronounces it. I would want to ask the man himself because I do like to get people's names right. I think it's Andre, but I'm not from the Czech Republic and I don't speak Czech, so I don't know. But they tied in the Webster Stone, so they split 5.5 points apiece. Austin Andrade took third, giving him fourth. Spencer Remick took fifth, took fourth, giving him 3. Gav took fifth with 2, and Nicholas Camby, the Italian undersized guy, got himself just 1 point. In Group 3, Webster Stones, we see that this was a victory for Mr. Adam Bishop. We see that Ivars got second. Matthew Ragg took third. Thomas Evans, the American former football player, got fourth with 3 points. Rob Kearney only managed fifth place for 2 points. I actually thought that he might do better on that event, but I do suspect that he will do pretty good on the deadlift ladder, and I think he'll do good on some other events that are coming up. But I would have expected Rob more than fifth place here. And then we see that Paul Dwyer got sixth. In the Webster Stones, in Group 4, it was all about the T-Rex Evan Singleton. He did the full 40 meters, matching Mitchell and Andre from earlier. Marcus Crowder, the other American in the group, he pulled out a second place finish there. Rauno Heinla took a third place. Pavlo a fourth place. Kane Francis a fifth place. And Evans Nana, who Laws told us all yesterday that he would be making the final, started out with 1 point. And then in the fifth and final group, we see that Jaco Schoonwinkel, who people were wondering, is he back from his own injury? We talked about Trey Mitchell's injury. But with the Jacos, they were like, is he going to recover? He was doing great in the World's Strongest Man last year. Had to pull out due to injury and haven't seen much from basically cricket since then. And so everyone's like, is he back or not? He comes out and right away he wins the first event. So that doesn't say, what's going to happen the rest of the World's Strongest Man. or in the events coming up, but when people are wondering what kind of shape you're in after you had to be eliminated due to injury and no one's seen or heard from you since, and you come out and grab a victory in your first event back, that it is a bit of a statement. Uh, and then Tom Stoltman, two-time winner, uh, he gets second place for 5 points. Wesley Derwinski gets third place for 4. Nathan Goldtree fourth place for 3. Adam Ruskowski, um, just 2 points. And then it says Bobby Thompson withdrew. Now earlier there was some numbers for Bobby Thompson. I think they were really lackluster, but I did see something on Webster Stones. At least I saw that on the Strongman Archives. I'll have to look back at that. But I thought he had a really bad showing. Um, it appears that Bobby Thompson has withdrawn from the event, so something really bad must have happened to him. Uh, what kind of gutted to read that? Guess you guys can't even see that. I need to scroll down a little further. There you go. But so Bobby Thompson has withdrawn. Um, I do think they should show his results from the Webster Stones here, so you can understand why he got the 1 point. Because if he didn't compete, he wouldn't get 1 point; he'd get 0. Um, Anybody know what's going on with Bobby? Anybody got any details? Before we go back and review what's happened so far, and well, actually, doesn't really matter because it's time for us to see if anything's happening in Group 3. It doesn't look like there is any results yet for Group 3. So we'll continue our review with Event 2 for the first 2 groups. And we'll do it on the Strongman Archive sites. And Andrei Sulakowski with a single point. Says I got disconnected for a moment. I don't know if you guys heard any of that. Group 2, Mitchell Hooper picks up a win that he doesn't have to share this time. So he gets 6 points for his 5 and a blistering time of 36.54 to complete all 5. Austin Andrade takes second place, the only other competitor in Group 2 getting all 5. And then it was all, at that point, a race to see who could get 4 in the fastest time. And now we wait for some results for Group 3. And I'll come back and see if you guys have said anything to me while I was doing the review. No one has said a word while I reviewed all of that. No one typed a single thing into the chat. Wow. Holy cow. My software's not working well. My networking is not stable. My OBS extensions aren't working. Everything is screwed up on my side. I don't know what to do except just apologize. Gee whiz. Well, I mean, since the since we're getting results slow, I guess I could turn you guys on by doing a little bit of posing. Look at the size of that gun, man. It's basically the same size as my freaking head. Get a little peck dancing going for you guys. Look at that. I'm all man and a yard wide. Look at that. Crazy. Boom. Boom. Look at that. Yeah. Oh, bet you guys are turned on now, aren't you? All right. That was fun. No one's talking. So, normally the way this channel works is I'm known for being the guy that interacts with you guys, talks to you a bunch, but when you're not putting anything into the chat, it's tough. And we don't have anybody watching with us. Normally there's a couple hundred people looking at the spreadsheet with us. So, um, I guess when it's just a couple of us hanging out here, it's going to be kind of lame. I'll bear part of the blame but not all of the blame. It's kind of weird that there's that much lag behind what I'm looking at in the live and the non-live because it's supposed to be a low latency stream. Give the people time. We don't give people anything here. You should know that. If they want a participation trophy, they're going to have to participate. All right. So in group 3, as the results come in, we have Adam Bishop, Ivars, Matthew Ragg, Thomas Evans, Rob Kearney, and Paul O'Dwyer. No results reported yet, but how do you guys think they're going to fare? The Banop, the Banana app, the Banana app, the Banana Hammock up, the Banana Hammock. Yeah, I never know what to call you. I've always read it as the Banana app, but I have no idea what it is. It's probably like some sort of organization or something, or maybe some sort of Scottish reference. I don't know. I have no idea what it is. But I've always just read it like the Bana app. Anyway, since you're the only one typing, who wins group 3? Not who wins group 3 outright. Who wins group 3 in the deadlift ladder? I think Rag is a good prediction. I think Adam Bishop was another excellent prediction. Adam Bishop is not only a fantastic deadlifter, he's super, super great at transitioning. His deadlift ladders are usually super fast. Um, him and Rob Kearney have actually been working together, and Rob was talking about how Adam had helped him speed up the transitions between the bars. And I guess we'll see how that goes. Rob is actually a pretty good deadlifter himself, and he's actually one of the smaller competitors and relies on quickness. Speed events, he does pretty well. So we'll see if maybe Adam helping him helps Rob here, and maybe if that comes back to bite Adam Bishop or not. But yeah, I think Matthew Ragg is probably a good prediction because he's got an excellent chance of getting the fifth bar up. And if you do that, it doesn't matter what kind of time you do, right? Um, and so I think that's a good pick. But I think there's quite a few of these guys that could actually manage all 5. But the question is, can they manage? Not can they lift heavy enough to do the fifth? I think probably just about everybody in this group, with maybe one exception, I could see being able to lift all 5 of these. It's not a matter of can they lift all 5. It's a matter of can they lift the fifth after having done the previous 4. So you guys got some results that I didn't get. It's like you get. Or maybe it's appearing on the other page. Oh, their site is really not loading for me. Let's check the other site. See if I'm getting better things over there. All right. Boom. Group three. Yep. Rob Kearney only managed three. Yeah, that's a bad sign for Rob for sure. And this is his final, uh, supposedly his final professional strongman event. He's retiring after World's Strongest Man 2024. Um, I actually thought he would do well here because he's a pretty good deadlifter, and again, he's one of the quicker guys. I'm really surprised that he only managed to get three. I would have thought he would be able to get four and in pretty decent time. Um, so I think what that does is I actually thought Rob didn't think he had a good shot, but I thought he had an outside chance of making the final. But I really believed he would need to do better in the Webster Stones than a fifth place finish. I didn't think he'd have to do well, but I thought he'd need to pick up at least three there. And then I thought he'd have to be in the top three in the deadlift ladder. With back to back fifth place finishes, I think we can safely say that Mr. Rob Kearney will not be attending his first World's Strongest Man final. Matthew Ragg and Thomas Evans both got five, and Matthew Ragg got five in 30:72, which I believe is even faster than Mitchell Hooper got his five in. I'm going to scroll up and check to make sure that I'm correct about that. They're not showing it on this one yet. It's on the Strongman archives. I guess I need to change the software. This kind of sucks going back and forth between these things. Um, okay, I'll move this over here. This is lame. Okay, now I can go back to the streaming software here. Okay, that'll work. Jeez, real pain in the butt. Okay, so we go here, and we go Strongman Archive. Boom. There we go. So this is what I was talking about. Now that we've got this on the visual here. So Matthew Ragg 5 and 30.72. If we scroll up, and we can't see Group 2 because it's not on there. Strongman Archives are letting me down here. There we go. Mitchell Hooper got 5 and 36.5 seconds, which I thought was blistering, which really it is. But Matthew Ragg made 5 and 36 look like child's play, 5 and 30 freaking seconds. That is just nutso. That's crazy. That means that Matthew Ragg completed five. I believe, if I'm not wrong, I think there might be 130 something here. Nope, I was gonna be right. So I was scared to say it because I thought one person might have beat it. The fastest time for four was 30.86. So Matthew Ragg completed five faster than anyone else completed four, with the probable exception of uh, Mitchell Hooper. I mean, if Mitchell got 5 and 36.54, he probably managed that fifth one in less than 6 seconds to go from the fourth implement to the fifth and then get it up. Um, but other than people who finished all five, Matthew Ragg actually finished all five deadlifts in the ladder faster than anyone else got four. That's just incredible. Yeah, I'd say he probably mixed grip the first three. Um, Actually, he may have just double overhanded the first one or two. It's not unreasonable to think that he could just pull a conventional one with the first one or two. He probably Mick grip them. Uh, if I was him and I was mixed gripping, I'd probably alternate my grip. I'd probably go this way for the first, then the second one, change my arms, third one back, just not to burn anything out. Um, and then strap in for 4 and 5. Although I couldn't do 4 and 5, so what am I talking about? It's not what I would have done because I couldn't do it. Only OGs know that Lil Kaz was the first guest host of this channel. Well, it's Kaz with a K. We discussed this last time, um, and I'm not gonna get Lil Kaz now because Lil Kaz is no longer a teeny tiny kitten. He has a little sister now, Rhodey, who just had kittens of her own last week. So we've got like 6 cats around here now because little mama just had 4. But turns out that Lil Kaz became pretty alpha. He's pretty aggressive and he does not like to be picked up. He does not like to be held. You can only pet him or give him attention when he wants it. That's about it. I try to pet Lil Kaz, and if he's not into it, he will claw the crap out of me. So before you start saying, because I know you're the big animal lover in the group and you love cats, before you start saying, "Hey, where is he?" and go get him, that's not happening. Because if I put him up here, I'm gonna be clawed to death. So my co-host is permanently retired. That cat has gotten grumpy and aggressive. I still love him, but he's kind of mean. He's kind of mean. On the other hand, um, yeah, maybe he'll mellow with age. I don't know. On the other hand, though, whereas Kaz is hyper aggressive, Rhodey, who got her name because I almost ran her over as she was a little kitten in the road on my way back from the gym. Then I felt guilty. Walked up and down the streets trying to find out who she belonged to. No one claimed her, so she got a home with me. Um, but she is the most docile thing of all. I'd bring her in here now, but she's doing her job as a mama and tending to her kittens right now. So I'm going to let her be a good mama and feed her babies. Um, but maybe I'll put her on stream at some point this week. But she's really affectionate, really gentle. She's not like Kaz at all. Holy crap! So if you'll remember, Mr. Banana Hammock, I told you that Matthew Ragg was a good pick, but Adam Bishop was the man to watch here. He is amazing at deadlift ladders. And when I said he's amazing at deadlift ladders, if you don't believe me, the results are in. When I saw Matthew Ragg at 5 and 30, I was like, maybe I should have shut my mouth about Adam Bishop. I guess I should not have, because 5 and 27 seconds is otherworldly. I know what I'm talking about. But even when I know what I'm talking about, these guys still sometimes do stuff that really boggles my mind and surprises me. I He deserves praise, but when you pull on a performance like that, where's the praise begin? How do you quantify that with words and give them the credit they deserve? That seems almost inhuman. Wow. Wow. 5 and 27 seconds. Let this sink in. Again, Rob Kearney is actually usually pretty good at deadlift ladders and deadlifts for reps because he's a pretty good deadlifter and he's one of the faster guys. Adam Bishop got 5 faster than Rob got 3. 5 faster than Rob got 3. Nuts. Truly nuts. So that's 2 first places for Adam Bishop so far. Um, if you're an Adam Bishop fan or a fan of Britain Strongman, you've got to be happy right now, and you got to be liking Adam's position. Um, I expected him to pick up big points. I expected him to get a first place finish here. Second place was, I figured, his worst case in the deadlift ladder. I thought if anyone could beat him, it'd be Matthew Ragg, but no one else. Um, and basically, the 3 guys that I thought would get all 5 got all 5. I thought that would be Bishop, Ragg, and Thomas Evans. I actually would have thought, to be honest with you, I actually would have thought that Rob Kearney would have had a chance to get 5. I would have thought he would have did it. I would have thought he would have had 4 in a fast time, but I would have thought he had a shot at getting 5. Would have thought Ivers has a shot at 5 too. The only guy I probably would have counted out, shame on me. The only guy I probably would have said, if you looked at it and said who can't get 5, I would have said Paul O'Dwyer can't get 5. Um, but I would have expected 3 guys to for sure to get it, and they did, and that's Bishop, Ragg, and Thomas Evans. Um, but I think that's I think that's probably a better showing in the Webster Stones than I would have thought for Adam. Um, I don't know how he's going to do in the sandbag steeplechase. Um, yeah, I don't know, but he's in the driver's seat with 12 points. That's for sure. I believe in the 2022 qualifiers. I could be wrong about this, but I believe he was nursing an injury back then. Um, but he's really good traditionally in deadlift ladders, super fast, and he has a crazy wrap technique. So I can't really duplicate it. I don't think a lot of guys can. I think a lot of people are trying to figure out how he does it or trying to learn it so that they can speed things up. But Bishop can use wraps, and he can wrap it quick enough where he can get it done just about as fast as guys can come up there without straps, without strapping in, and just go with like an over under or mixed grip. Um, he has a really unique, interesting wrapping technique that's super fast. So that's pretty good. I guess now we see what Evan Singleton did. Even though I'm not a big T Rex fan, or I mean, even though I'm a huge T Rex fan, you guys know what a major Evan Singleton fan I am. Um, I think Evan beats himself a lot, and I don't enjoy his shtick, as you know. But no one can deny Evan's intensity and his competitive spirit. It's in a it's in a class of his own, right? Now, I'm not saying that he can beat Adam Bishop in 5 and 27 seconds. I don't know if there's a man on earth that can beat 5 and 27 seconds. Although I've gotten to where I'm not counting any of these guys out and saying what people can't do anymore. Because every year and every event, it seems like, forget every event, it seems like these guys do something that I just didn't expect or didn't think could be done. And so you need to stop saying what's possible. They defy possibility all the time. Anyway, I'm definitely not saying I expect Evan Singleton to come out here and blitz through Adam Bishop's time of 5 and 27. But I will say that Evan Singleton is crazy enough. He's nuts enough in the head that when he sees a performance like that, you know he's going to be jacked up. You know he's going to want to come out here and act a fool and throw the gauntlet down and put a stamp on the performance. He's going to want to do something that is bat crap crazy and impressive. Now the question is, there's several questions actually. The question one is A, can he beat 5 and 27? I don't know. Again, I don't know if anyone can. But question two is, does that also make him a bit careless? Does that also make him not take his time to really secure his grips on each barbell? Does it make him trip? Does it make him do something a little bit Evan Singleton esque and make a mistake? Does his mind get in the way here? I see it. I see an event like this after Adam Bishop just did what he did, where Evan Singleton's competitive fire can really work to his advantage, or it can work against him wildly. And I guess we'll find out in just a moment. Um, yes, this is a live update, and you can see the results at strongmanarchives.com or theworldstrongestman.com, or just on the screen in front of you. Uh, so I guess while we're waiting for Group 4 results, we'll go back and take a look real quick. All right. Group 1, Webster Stones, Eddie Williams. Look, I'm not going through times and distances and all that. We're just looking at places. Group 1, Webster Stones, Eddie Williams, Luke Stoltman, Kevin Ferris, Tristan Hoff, Trey Mitchell, and Oscar Zolowski. Sorry. Um, uh, yeah, deadlift ladder. That's going to be Tristan Hoff, Eddie Williams, Luke Stoltman, Kevin Ferris, Trey Mitchell, and Oscar Zolowski. So if we look at total points for Group 1, that puts us Eddie Williams in the lead, Tristan and Luke tied for second, Kevin Ferris, Trey Mitchell, and Oscar. Group 2, we had a tie for first place. Mitchell Hooper and Andre split 5.5, or they split 11 points, giving them 5.5 apiece. Austin Andrade gets 4, Spencer Remick 3, Gav Bilton 2, Nicholas Camby 1. Deadlift ladder was all about Mitchell Hooper, then Austin Andrade, Andre Futu, Gav Bilton, Nick Camby, and Spencer Remick. If we look at overall for that group, it means that Mitchell Hooper is in the lead. Shock and surprise to everyone, I'm sure. Andre Fatu in second, Austin Andrade in third, Gav Bilton, Spencer Remick, and Nicholas Camby. In Group 3, event 1 was Adam Bishop with 6 points, Ivers second, Matthew Ragg, Thomas Evans, Rob Kearney, and Paul O'Dwyer. In the deadlift ladder, Adam Bishop and Matthew Ragg reigned supreme. Thomas Evans, Ivor Smox Ellis, Paul O'Dwyer, and Rob Kearney, meaning their overall points for Group 3. Adam Bishop is on top with a 3-point lead over Matthew Ragg. Then Ivers, Thomas Evans, Paul O'Dwyer, and Rob Kearney are tied at 3 points apiece. And then we wait for Group 4. Deadlift ladder results, same for Group 5. But while we're waiting for those results, we can see how they did in the Webster Stones. It was a victory for Evan Singleton, then Marcus Crowder, Rauno, Pavlo, Francis, and Evans Nana. The RE threw me off there because I've never seen him called anything but Evans Nana. So, like, who's RE? Okay, Evans Nana. Here we go. And then Group 5, Webster Stones, Jaco Schoonwinkel, Thomas Stoltman, Derwinski, Goldtree, Roskowski, and Bobby Thompson managed only 20 meters and then apparently had to withdraw from the competition. So I'm guessing he hurt himself. Um, and I haven't heard any reports as to whether it was a hand injury because of the carrying, or if maybe he dropped it and hurt himself, or tripped over something, or no idea. Maybe he went into it injured and just tried to muscle through it and couldn't. I don't know. If anyone knows what happened to Bobby Thompson, please share it in the chat. Boom, 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 boom. You know, one of the problems with drinking 44-ounce sodas is when you bring in that much liquid, you have to get rid of that much liquid. That means it's tinkle time. You know, there's a Jace Love strength specialty word, right? It's time for me to tinkle. I'll be back in a moment. Any other comments from the people? No other comments from the people. So I'm guessing none of us happen to know what has happened to Mr. Bobby Thompson, huh? I really want to know. I'm sure Laws knows. I'm sure his people know because they have insiders that we don't have because they're important people. Um, so why don't one of you guys go spy for us and find out what happened to Bobby Thompson? Marcus Crowder looks like my son. I'm gonna take that as a compliment. I don't see that at all. That's a good looking cat. He looks like a good looking guy. That's not my offspring. Not at all. I look like dog crap. I'm an ugly mother. He's a handsome dude. So if that's my son, my wife or his mother, maybe we weren't married. Who knows? Maybe I'm just a playa. Was a good looking woman because it's all her. I didn't help make that guy. Yeah, he's way too good looking to be my son. Look at this. Gotta bring this over here now. I don't want to do it that way, do I? Yeah, why not? I keep doing it the wrong way. Oops. Need to hold Alt and hold the control. Look at that. That ain't my kid. That's a good looking guy right there. I don't know who his daddy is, but it ain't me. That's just mean to tell someone that they look like my kid. You should kind of apologize to him, to be honest. Telling someone they look like my kid is just kind of hateful. Hateful. That's like hate speak for sure. His hair's looking pretty good right now. I can go muss mine up and put my gel in it that I have sometimes. Then I might be looking somewhat sexy. As a matter of fact, be right back. I'm gonna go get the sexiness. Come back. How many people qualify from each group? So the group winner qualifies for the final, and then the second and third place from each group, they compete in a stone off, and then the winner of the stone off goes into the final. So two from each group, and I'm sure we'll talk about this several times over the today and tomorrow. I think stone offs are stupid, and the way they work is stupid. But it's important to understand them, at least if we're going to be covering it and talking about it. So, the way the stone offs work, I believe it works the same way last year that it did. Um, I believe it works the same way this year that it did last year. They don't always work the same way, but I believe they're sticking with this method. Hope to be wrong. But the way the stone offs work is second and third place compete against one another, and essentially what happens is um, the second place competitor only needs to equal what the third place competitor does. The third place competitor needs to outdo the second place competitor. So essentially, what that means is the guy in third place picks up a stone and then puts it down. The guy in second place has to answer and pick up the same stone. As long as the guy in second place manages to lift the stone so the third place guy finishes, he wins. So ties are automatically a victory for the second place. In order for the person in third place to win the stone off, they have to lift one more stone than the guy in second. So the third place guy has to pick it up, and then the second place guy has to fail to do it. So anyway, now we have some results coming in from group four, and we can see. Are you guys not? Oh, I guess it is delayed. Sorry about that. Hopefully, it's actually not on your side. I know you're getting this in more real time, but we have we have 4 in 26 seconds we can see right here, and then we have 4 in 32 seconds, almost at 35 seconds, 31.59. So there we have those results starting to come in from group 4. It looks like the thing they're showing in the in my YouTube studio, it looks like the thing there is actually about 15 minutes behind. So that's kind of weird. Let me see if I can catch that up. There we go. See what kind of delays we're looking at. About a 3 or 4 second delay now. I guess 3 or 4 seconds is a lot better than 30 or 15 minutes though. So, all right, banana hammock. How do you think the Evan Singleton effect is going to go on this one? I talked about how his competitive spirit can really work for him or against him based on what Adam Bishop just did. Um, what do you think? Do you think this is going to fire Evan up and cause him to do some sort of unworldly thing or put up a really good performance and a good time? Or do you think it's going to put him on tilt, so to speak, uh, and get him out of his game and make him be out there and rattled and make mistakes? I do think he could use a little bit of rear end kicking. I hate giving Evan credit. It pains me sometimes to say good things about him. I will say that from what I have observed over the last 365 days, I do think Evan is softening a little bit. And I do think that he is not quite so outrageous and quite so um, douchey. He's always going to have that persona. And I know it's an on screen character that he's playing. He may be a wonderful dude in his day to day life. I don't know, but I don't like his act. Um, but it's not because I don't like pro wrestling aspect. I'm a big fan of pro wrestling. I follow it my whole life. I just think he comes off as very inauthentic. It's just never seemed genuine. It seems weird, over the top. Um, and then of course, you have to back it up when you do it, right? But regardless, I feel like in the last year, he's still that character of himself, but I do think that he's dialed it back a notch or two. Um, and I think that's actually good to see. Now you can make an argument. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just getting used to him. But I do believe that he's dialed it back some. And I think some of that is because he hasn't gotten the results that he has promised and has gone out there and said that he's going to do. And I think there's gets to a point where he's like, yeah, just that. I mean, maybe I can't get out there and keep talking a big game if I don't deliver it. Best regards to Germany. How about that? Best regards from Germany. Best regards to Germany. Yeah. So, speaking to a German, would that be pan optimum or pan optimal? Would it be pan? Ah, here's what we can do. Strongman Archives, one of the great things about it is they have these view events and notes, and they give us some of this information. So this is fantastic. Good question that you're asking, and the information is available right here for us. So we can see the Webster stones are 136 and 113 kilograms, and they are allowed to set them down one time, which this is becoming a new thing that they're doing a lot in these stone carries, or they're allowing them to set them down once and pick them up. Honestly, I don't like it. I think when they hit the ground, you're done. Now, it, what it actually seems like in application anyway is when they hit the ground, they're done, because it's pretty rare that these guys set them down and then pick them back up and manage to go anywhere else. Um, in rare cases, you might see them get an extra 4 or 5 meters, but usually they pick them up and go nowhere, or they can't even pick them up again. But I don't think they should have the option. In my personal opinion, which I know means nothing to nobody on planet Earth, I do believe that when they hit the ground, you're done. That's the way it should be done. The deadlift ladder, they have 60 seconds to do it. I actually were, I actually thought they were gonna have. No, that's probably what I thought. Never mind. I was thinking about the steeplechase for a second. Um, they have 5 bars and they range from 300 kilograms to 380. Yeah, that's what I thought. So they go up in 20 kilogram increments, I believe. And I might be wrong with that. There could be some kind of weird thing where they're not uniform, but I believe they are 20 kilogram increments. So I think it's 300, 320, 340, 360, 380. Then sandbag steeplechase is 20 meters, a 75-second limit. They load 3 bags. Usually in these steeplechase races or these loading races, they only have to load 2 implements. They're having to load 3 bags. So um, it's not going to be that much fun. And then you have to load it twice, once over each hurdle. The Viking press, car walk, and stone off, which will be all tomorrow. The Viking press is 155 or 150 kilograms, and they have 60 seconds to press it as many times as they can. The car walk will be 454 kilograms, so roughly around 1,000 pounds, and they'll be carrying that thing 20 meters. And then again, uh, the stone offs. They have 6 stones weighing from 140 to 200 kilograms. Once they get that 6th stone, if and when they get to the 6th stone, it's how many times can they do it. So it's not fastest. It's not who completes the 6 stones the quickest in the stone off. It's the most reps. So they go through the first 5. They get to the 200 kilogram stone. Then it's just keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until someone fails. Hopefully that answered your questions. I think I'll go ahead and I'll leave that on the screen because there might be other people that want to know what you've asked, even though you can't really see all of the information there. You can see a good portion of it, so it's cut off a little bit, and I apologize for that. You're welcome, and thank you for asking about it because there probably were a lot of people actually wanting to know. And normally I'm pretty good about expanding that and kind of covering that, and just kind of forgot about it and glossed over it. So um, I don't know if Evan Singleton is going to be operating at top form or not, but I don't think I am in terms of this stream. I don't think I'm operating at top form at all. Boom, 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 boom. Mr. Sandman, bring someone who can sing. Make him better than Jace Man sings. Why do you think this is not being aired live in the UK or US? Well, I don't think I know the answer to that question. And I don't like it. None of us like it, but it is what it is. The reason it's not being streamed is due to licensing rights. So they have exclusive TV deals um, that prevent it from being shown anywhere until the TV shows have aired. So the coverage can't be covered anywhere until that. And then even after that, it can't be aired anywhere until a licensing period in most countries. Um, and even then, you have to pay for permissions and rights to cover it later after the fact. So it just has to do with the fact that they have exclusive contracts. Um, and I guess those go way back years and years and years. And I assume ESPN and Channel 5, I assume they pay really good money for that. Probably more than it was worth when they signed it, to be honest, because it's always been such a niche sport. It's growing now. But I do think, I don't know how long the current contract goes, and maybe it's just wishful thinking on my part. Maybe it's just wishful thinking. Maybe it'll never happen. But I'm inclined to believe that when the next contract expires, they won't re up, and we will see World's Strongest Man finally get into the live streaming business. And I think there's a couple things that's going to make that happen. Number one, there's just a lot of money in streaming online now, and you can make a lot of ad revenue, which you couldn't before. So you had to get those TV deals, but now they can make a lot of money this way. Number two, I think they're going to be forced to make some changes because they're not the only game in town. When you've got things like the Arnolds, Rogue, the Strongest Man on Earth, aka the Shaw Classic, or formerly known as the Shaw Classic, because I guess now the Shaw Classic is going to be their amateur or their amateur show for the Open to get into the Strongest Man on Earth the following year. But because all of those platforms are providing a live streaming service, either for free or behind a paywall, either way. Um, but the fact is, your fans can watch it coverage live or same day or something like that. Um, I think that's going to kind of force World's Strongest Man's hand and make them change their model and kind of have to follow the suit of everyone else. Um, Again, that may just be wishful thinking on my part because truthfully, all of us want them to start live streaming and stop holding out the results for 3 and 4 months, right? I think universally, every one of us hates this. Um, so I definitely want them to change, but I actually think they're going to be required to. I think the industry is going to force them to get with the times, and if they don't, I don't think they're going to get left behind. Supposedly we don't have to refresh the streams. They're supposed to, or the spreadsheets. They're supposed to auto refresh, but they don't work. I try to stick with it because it says at the top the contest is underway. There's no need to refresh the page. Um, I am a web developer myself. This is the kind of area I work in, and I know that's very taxing on the servers. And I know that these guys survive strictly by donation. They don't make any money or charge just to use the service. So I really try not to tax their servers any more than necessary. But sometimes it seems like their JavaScript or whatever application they're using to update these are not running reliably. So we do kind of have to hit the F5. Um, yeah, so there you go. But I was trying to avoid it because of that. It says not to, it says it's not necessary. So the banana hammock keeping us all honest here. All right, so Pavlo only managed 3, so that's not good. Evans Nana got 4 and 31. Matthew Crowder got 4 and 43. Uh, so I guess my son didn't do very well there. Do better. I said Matthew. Uh, my good-looking son here did not do very well, so he needs to get better. Um, yeah, shame. Um, Francis 4 and 26. Rauno and Evan Singleton both managed 5, and Rauno did his 5 faster than Evan Singleton. So I don't think it's a big surprise. Should be a surprise to no one that Rauno got all 5. Um, I guess you could say, hey, it's a bit of a surprise that Rauno managed to get 5 faster than Evan. But I also think you could make an argument that there was a chance that Evan wasn't going to get all 5. I think the truth of the matter is we know that Evan Singleton is faster than Rauno, and he's definitely a better athlete than Rauno. But I do believe that Rauno is one of the supreme deadlifters on planet Earth, one of the best. And so maybe he didn't blaze through them, but he was going to get through them. And if Evan managed 5 and 44 and a half, I'm going to assume that one of two things happened. Either A, Evan did what I thought he might do, tripped or made some sort of mistake, didn't wrap up well. He struggled. Probably had an Evan Singleton moment where he wasn't calculating, he wasn't careful, was just going like a bull in a china shop and made it some sort of mental mistake. Or option two, he simply struggled with that fifth one. The weight was just too much for him. not too much for him. I guess it's the wrong way to put it because he got it up, so obviously it wasn't too much for him. But maybe it was just heavier than he was anticipating. That would be a mental lapse. That would be a Evan Singleton moment, and that sounds like something I could very clearly imagine happening. Um, yeah, I think you could be right, Banana Hammock. It could be that he didn't wait for a down call and had to do another one, or it could be that um, um, instead of waiting for a down call, it could be that he simply didn't lock it out, which I mean would kind of be the same thing as not waiting for a down call, but he also sometimes seems to think that he's fully locked out in pressing and deadlifts when he may not really be. Like if the weight comes up really easy for him, it seems like Evan has a tendency to put it down like, oh, that was easy, so I don't have to really lock out. You could see that I've got the weight. So he doesn't even lock out. Um, Now, to your point, if he's waiting for a down call, he doesn't have to worry about that. But I think he just assumes that he's getting it because, gosh, that weight was easy. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's either way. And there could have been other reasons too. He could have tripped. Um, could have just struggled with the weight. But it's not uncommon for Evan Singleton to get in his own way and get in his own head. So there we go. Group four, deadlift ladder. Rauno wins it. Evan Singleton. Only two guys getting through five. And then Francis, Nana, Crowder, and Kordiaka. So where that puts us in total points, Group 4 is still being led by Evan Singleton. He loses a point to Heinla, or Rauno picks up a point on him, whichever way you want to phrase it. So they're neck and neck, only 1 point apart. And they've got a decent lead over Crowder. And then I guess Francis has a shot, but I guess technically all of them have a shot. There's only two events. We still got a long way to go. But, I don't see these guys struggling mightily. Well, I take that back. I don't think Round was going to do very well in the steeplechase. Um, I don't think he'll do that well in a couple of these events. I don't think he's going to do well in the Viking press. I could be wrong. But I really don't think Round is going to do well in the steeplechase. Maybe he'll make a liar out of me and do well, and I hope he does. But even if they slip, I don't see them slipping enough for a lot of these guys to catch up. So I'm basically saying the way they are right now, that's really, unless there's an injury or something goes wrong, which is always a possibility. Evan Singleton and Rauno are probably moving on from Group 4. And I say that mainly because I think Rauno can be pesky enough that even if he loses ground here, he's not going to go further than the third round. And as we saw, he's really good in stones anyway, and he's stubborn. We saw what he did against Brian Shaw last year. If he's stuck in a stone off position, he's in second place, he's winning. If he's in a third position, he's going to beat a lot of these guys because he may not be the fastest at the stones, but he can pick them up, and he can pick them up for a long, long time. And so there's not a lot of guys that I think can win from the third place position on a stone off. Rauno is one of them. So as long as he's in the second place position where he is now, he's good. If he's in the third place position, he's probably pretty dang good as well. So my prediction as of right now is Group 4 is going to be Evan Singleton and Rauno moving on to the final, um, unless someone gets injured and has to withdraw. Any updates from anyone yet? Does anyone know what happened to Mr. Bobby Thompson? Did you do any spying banana hammock on Laws and Liz? Have they talked about Bobby? I would think that they would talk about it because a they've got insider information. They know what's going on because they're being fed the information. But also, Bobby Thompson is a client of Laws. So when you add those two things together, I would strongly suspect that Laws and Liz know what Bobby Thompson's condition is and what has happened to him. And I'm just curious. I'm actually a huge Bobby Thompson fan. Um, I wish he was better at stones. If he was, he'd have a much more stacked trophy case. Stones are so important in modern day strongman. And I like stones, but you guys have heard me talk about it for the last several years too. That I think there's too much importance placed on the stone events in strongman these days. I'd like more variety and things. Um, just my personal take. Um, but it is a weakness of his, sort of an Achilles heel, and I think it's Bobby Thompson has been successful in his career, but I think he would have been much, much, much more successful if he didn't have that problem. So we got our first of results coming in from Group Five. The Pol, um, the I think he's the lone Polish competitor, isn't he? Nope, my bad. Um, Sproskowski gets only 3 and 37, so he's one of one, two, three. I think so. No, there's another four. So he's one of four guys to only get three in the deadlift ladder. And while he's not the only pole, his country mate also only managed three in the deadlift ladder. Bobby suffered a calf injury. That sucks. That sucks. It really sucks too if you are a Bobby Thompson fan, because the Stones are the Stones, and he's always going to struggle with them. That's just what it is. But outside of the Stones, I thought these events at World's Strongest Man in the qualifier and in the final both, I really thought they suited Bobby Thompson quite well. Probably better than any other set of events in the World's Strongest Man that he has competed in. I thought they were really Bobby Thompson friendly. Um, so that's unfortunate for him. It may have been his best shot. Excuse me. I'm getting too old for this stuff, guys. My younger brother, Rag, will be one to watch. I don't know if Matthew Rag is your actual brother or not, um, but if he is, I would agree with you. And there's probably not a whole lot of people who don't agree with you unless they just have not been following the sport recently. I think most people know that even though there's not a whole lot of tail of the tape to go with him, in what we have seen, dude has been wrecking shop, and he is a beast. So he's definitely one to watch. If he's legitimately your brother, then cool. Maybe you should get me an autographed T-shirt or something, because, uh, or even better, set me up with an interview because I would love to interview him. Um, if you're just calling him your brother because your last letter you are JR, and maybe your last name is Rag, or maybe it's just a name that starts with R, or maybe you're a New Zealander, or maybe it's just your pal, or maybe you're a fan, or maybe a thousand other things. He's definitely one to watch. No one's going to argue with you. I don't know if that's that much of a story. At least it wouldn't be if he was from America, because in America, like I read a statistic, and I'm probably exaggerating. It's probably not what I'm getting ready to say, but I feel like it's pretty close to this. But I think I read something before that like 80, 83, 80 something percent of Americans will have worked for McDonald's at some point in their lives. For a lot of us, our first job, but but basically our entire country has been employed by McDonald's at some point. Like it would be weirder not if you went from McDonald's to World's Strongest Man, but if you're an American, it would be weirder if you didn't work at McDonald's than if you had. The stupid pesky hangnail here on my middle finger. I'd show it to you guys, but then it's gonna look like I'm flipping you off. It's really getting on my nerves. Yeah, I don't know what the statistic was, but it was a high number. I'm gonna do a quick Google search because Google knows everything, right? Let's see here. What percentage of Americans will work for McDonald's at some point in their cotton picking lives? Okay, I was way wrong. So there wasn't 8. I was thinking 80%. I was way wrong. It's not that 80%, it's that 1 in 8. 1 in 8, not 8. I probably thought 81. 1 in 8. So 12.5% of Americans will work at McDonald's at some point. For those keeping score at home, I was one of the 1 in 8. I did work at McDonald's. It was my second job, and it was the second job that I got fired for fighting at work. Um, as a teenager, you guys know me as this calm, nice guy. If you've been with me the last few years, you know about my faith and all that. But true story, I got fired from both of my first two jobs for fighting. So, um, all right. So Nathan Goldtree gets 4 and 48 seconds, and then we get our first person in Group 5 to manage all 5. Big Canadian Derwinski, and he gets 5 and 45.9. I think that's our slowest at 5. No, Thomas Evans, 5 and 52. So, oh, and then Eddie Williams even slower. He just barely got within the 60-second time limit. 5 and 58. Again, doesn't matter. You get 5 within 60 seconds. It's good. It beats all those fours, no matter how fast they are. Jace actually hates fighting, but in my younger years, I definitely did not avoid them. Um, so you guys know I'm this brawny guy, big muscular dude, but then you guys also know that I'm the shrimpo, and I used to be as skinny and frail as I am short. For whatever reason, people love to pick on short people and love to start stuff. And of course, they think that if you're small, you can't defend yourself. You add being short with scrawny, and I was definitely a target. And the bullies came looking for me all the time. And, I had those kind of parents that were basically like, if you get your ass whipped by someone, don't come telling us, because if you get your ass whipped at school or at work or wherever, and then you come tell us, we're going to whip your ass again. Um, and I had an older brother who was a troublemaker and always in fights, but I was the kind just wouldn't run from them, but I wasn't looking for them either. My older brother, on the other hand, he was always looking for them. Uh, and and he was 7 years older than me, so I didn't stand much of a chance against him. Long story short, I had a lot of incentive to learn how to defend myself. Otherwise, I was probably going to pay a price inside my house. These days, I'm not going to fight anyone unless my life or someone's life is in danger. Otherwise, I figure there's a million other ways to handle it. But as a young guy, I was a little more willing to engage, or hot headed, or less calm, or whatever. All right. So does Jaco Schoonwinkel, let's change that W to a V. Does Jaco Schoonwinkel go back to back first place finishes in the first two events? Does he get all five? And if he does he do it faster than Tom Stoltman? Will Tom Stoltman get all five? Probably. And will Tom get them faster than 5 and 45? Nearly 46 seconds. Probably. So will Yako match it or beat it? We all wait to find out. I don't want to refresh just in case their site's working, but it seems unreliable, so I'll refresh anyway. No results yet. Hmm. Jaco Schoonwinkel. It's just fun to say, to be honest. It might be my favorite name to say in the competition. Our names are pretty similar. The first are Jason and Jaco. The last name is Barnett, so I don't think Schoonwinkel and Barnett are that close. Waiting for spreadsheets is so much fun. Waiting for spreadsheets. What have you done? I feel like I need my air conditioning on. It is burning up in here. I'm sweating as much now as I do at the gym. I didn't even see the heckling from the boosted chicken talking about an interview for my 7 viewers. If I wanted to grow this channel, I could. And I sometimes suggest to you guys that I'm going to, but the desire just isn't there. I got too many things I'm working on and doing. Um, I do want to cover this sport full time, but I don't have the desire to put the work in to make that happen and the sacrifices it would mean to get to the point where I could afford to do that. Um, I could make it happen, but it would just be too big of a sacrifice and asking too much of myself, and I'm not willing to put it in. I'm just That's just being candid and honest. There we go. The rest of the results. Group 5, deadlift ladder. Derwinski gets the 6 points. So 45.9 was good enough. Tom Stoltman could not best it. He did get 5, but in slower time, half a second slower. And Yako did not manage all 5. He got 4 pretty quickly, but that fifth weight was too much. 4 in 29.87. Nathan got 4 as well. And then we know that Ruskowski already got the 3. And that really completes our deadlift ladder. So that's all 5 groups for the deadlift ladder, which I guess I'll go back and review that real quickly. Not going to look at the total points for each group. We're just going to strictly look at the deadlift ladder. Then I'm going to shut this down and get the sandbag steeplechase event scheduled for later. And then anyone who wants to come back and watch with me at that point, I'll see you then. And anyone who doesn't want to come back, I guess I won't see you then. So here we go. Your deadlift ladder results. Group 1. Kristen Hoff, Eddie Williams, Luke Stoltman, Kevin Ferris, Trey Mitchell, and Oscar Zlakowski. First through sixth, Group 1. Group 2. Scroll that down a little bit there. Here you go. Group 2, deadlift ladder, Mitchell Hooper, Austin Andrade, Andre Fachu, Gav Bilton, Nicholas Camby, and Spencer Remick. Group 3, deadlift ladder results. Adam Bishop with the most impressive performance in the event, and probably what I would say is the most impressive performance of the day so far. 5 in 27.17. Just before he did that, Matthew Ragg had 5 in 30.72, which had all of our jaws on the floor. Then we picked them up, only for Adam Bishop to say, that really wasn't that impressive. Let me show you what impressive is. Thomas Evans also got 5. So this group had 3 guys get 5. And then we had Ivars, Paul, and Rob Kearney. Group 4, deadlift ladder. Roundo takes the victory. Then Evan Singleton, Kane Francis, Evans Nana, Marcus Crowder, and Pavlo Kordiaka. Finally, Group 5 in the deadlift ladder. Try to get this in the right spot on my screen for everyone. I think that's right around there. So then we have Wesley Derwinski, Tom Stoltman, Jaco Schoonwinkel, Nathan Goltree, Adam Ruskowski, and Bobby Thompson did not compete in the deadlift ladder because he was forced to withdraw from the competition. So that is how the deadlift ladder shook out. And I'm going to shut this down, and I'll see you guys back here for the sandbag steeplechase. And let me just confirm the times on that real quickly. I think I know, but I don't want to say something that's not right. So I'll go back over here. Make sure I'm correct. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Sandbag steeplechase. About 45 minutes. So basically, I'm going to shut this down, get the new one scheduled, and then I'll probably start at about 5 or 10 minutes early. So I'll see everybody again in about a half an hour. So, adios.